Hello there, and welcome to Nowhere to Hide. I'm Brian Hyde. During this last legislative session, the governor was very proud to inform us that he had delivered some of the best tax relief, the largest income tax relief to Idaho residents that they could remember. And, I'm not going to say that was a bad thing, but I wonder in my heart if Idaho is ready to really fully commit to real tax relief, as in, is Idaho ready to get rid of the income tax? Let's explore that proposition in just a moment.
All reporters are biased, the Idaho Press Club are biased, all media, newspaper, radio.
To be completely blunt here, Brian, and there are plans to expand
indoctrination.
That's right.
Well, Idahoans are also concerned.
Horror shot.
That line would be moving a little bit farther west.
I'm like crying.
Nobody wants to see
dark money is influencing policy.
Once again, welcome to Nowhere to Hide. I'm Brian Hyde. Now, when it comes to cutting taxes, politicians have a real tough time with that. Even though, on the one hand, it's a way of showing, the constituency, look, hey, look at what I've done for you. Look at how I've saved you money. Aren't I a hero? That's great. But at the same time, those same politicians will often be cooking up other ways that they can spend people's money, and they've got to collect that money somehow, taxes being the easiest way to do so. But when tax relief comes, obviously, we should be grateful. But we should always view it as a good start and ideally be moving towards something of greater substance. Now, let me share with you, this is a press release from the governor's office back in March. Idaho delivers largest income tax cut in state history, sending another $253 million back to Idahoans. Now, before I give you a couple excerpts from the article, let's first start with the idea that, so the state took more from Idahoans than it needed in taxes. And of course, there was at some level a debate about, well, what do we do with it? Do we send it back to them? Do we let them keep it? Do we put it in a rainy day fund for when we really need it? So I just come back to whose money is it as to what needs to be done with it. Governor Brad Little joined members of the House and Senate leadership today in signing House Bill 40, sending another $253 million back to Idahoans' pockets in the form of income tax cuts. Governor Little called for additional tax relief in his Keeping Promises plan. Now, most of the tax cut is achieved by reducing the income tax rate for individuals and businesses from 5.695% to 5.3%. So it's pretty minor. They're still taking a cut, just a little bit smaller cut. And it also allows veterans to keep more of their military pensions. Now, the governor's office goes on to say here, Idaho families and businesses deserve and need to keep more of their hard-earned money. It's the right thing to do. Governor Little says Idaho's continued strength comes from our focus on good government and the Idaho taxpayer. Now, good government would also mean limited government, meaning it could be smaller. But he says, I appreciate my partners in the legislature for sharing our goal of prioritizing tax relief while taking care of the needs of a growing state. Okay, fair enough. House Speaker Mike Moyle, this is the people's money, not ours in government. He's right. We just don't see those actions often borne out. Today, we're delivering the single largest income tax in state history, and we're just getting started. Giving back the people's money has always been and will remain a top priority of mine as Speaker. And for that, I would say thank you, Speaker Moyle. Here's Senate Pro Tem Kelly Anthon. Time and again, Idaho state leaders have demonstrated that in times of prosperity, we will do the right thing and give the people back more of what they earned. Today's tax cut benefits not just the families that need it, but our valued military veterans who've sacrificed so much for our state and our nation. So don't get me wrong. This is great. It's a great place to start. I like that they're thinking, maybe there are some places we should be cutting. But if we want to get serious about it, what more could they do? Well, the answer is they could follow the lead of the poorest state in the union, that being Mississippi, and could do away with the income tax altogether. Take a look at this. This is an article from Reason magazine. Mississippi is ditching its income tax, and other states should follow. Now, again, the poorest state in the nation just passed bold tax reform that empowers workers, attracts investment, and simplifies the system. The author here, Alex Rosado, says that is a model worth copying. So here are some of the basics of what is going on with Mississippi. And I throw this out there, first of all, to pose the question to you, the viewer, would you be okay with the income tax going away? And secondly, I put this out there so that you actually have some intellectual ammunition should you want to contact your elected representatives and say, hey, why aren't we making the income tax a thing of the past? So, after months of politicians fighting, Mississippi has joined a small club of 9 other states in passing legislation eliminating the state income tax, an outcome that will benefit Mississippians and hopefully encourage other states to follow suit. So, this was House Bill 1, known as the Build Up Mississippi Act, phases out the Magnolia State's income tax. Now, the persuasions were strong enough to flip the state house's previous stance on passage this year, and it allowed Governor Tate Reeves to sign the bill into law on March 27th. Now, the governor said, "I believe in a simple idea that government should take less so that you can keep more." So the new legislation will gradually lower Mississippi's state income tax, currently sitting at 4.4%, to 3% by 2030. Further annual cuts depend on growth triggers that are linked to state revenue, and this strategy will economically empower citizens and make the state's government more responsible. Mississippi proved that ambitious reform can occur, and other states will take similar action. Now, I know it'll cut it from 4.4 to 3% by 2030. When does it go away entirely? Fair question. States with low income taxes enjoy greater economic prosperity. Now, you can compare Texas, which has no personal income tax, or Oklahoma, which has a top rate of 4.75%. Last month, the Tax Foundation found that Texas's economy grew roughly 35% faster than Oklahoma's over the last 2 decades, with Texas's personal incomes and gross state product being noticeably higher too. Now, of course, the one downside is Texas has extremely high property tax rates, which is how it makes up for that lack of income tax. I understand that this is quite common in some of those other states, so that's a consideration. Low income tax, the article says, makes a state a magnet for investment. As noted by the Mississippi Center for Public Policy, since the state reduced its income tax to a flat 4% in 2022, the Mississippi Development Agency reported a whopping $25 million in inward investment. Businesses often consider tax burdens when they decide where to establish operations and to maximize their gains, so workers are drawn to areas where they can retain more of their earnings. So, according to interstate migration data by the U.S. Census Bureau, Americans are flocking to low income tax states or no income tax states like South Carolina and Idaho in 2024. Actually, Idaho is not no income tax, but low income tax. And that same year, states like Florida, Tennessee, and Nevada, the ones with no income tax whatsoever, saw some of the strongest economic activity in the country. Now, a 2008 longitudinal study that analyzed economic growth in the states from 1964 to 2004 found that states with higher income taxes stifled economic growth, entrepreneurialism, and access to capital. Since Mississippi announced its cuts, Oklahoma's governor says he wants in on the change. So let's bring it home here. As Mississippi stagnated in population growth last year, politicians say they hope that this new economic relief will mobilize residents and ease aching wallets. Less income taxes or less taxes will stimulate the local economies by increasing consumer spending. And why not? You get to decide what to do with that money. It's your money. You put it to the highest, most productive use. States with lower income taxes typically have lighter tax burdens, meaning more take-home pay can be saved or reinvested in neighborhoods through everyday commercial purchases. Now, as the poorest state in the union, every dollar earned and kept in Mississippi is critical for survival. With time, a sizable cash flow could reinvigorate the overall financial situation and raise income per capita. Bottom line here is Mississippi's new law embraces healthy competition, fiscal responsibility, and generational transformation, as states with low income taxes have the best economic outlook. Minimizing or abolishing the income tax is a growing trend. Other states should learn from Mississippi and forge more economic freedom for their residents. So the question that I present to you is that something that Idaho's ready for? Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can obviously chime in the comments. Actually, for whatever media platform you happen to be seeing this video on, I would encourage you to weigh in. Would you support Idaho eliminating the state income tax? Understand, there would be some trade-offs. It's not just a slam dunk of, somebody would have done it a long time ago if it was the really easy thing to do. But the question, even more than is it the easy thing to do, is it the right thing to do? I think I could be persuaded that it is, especially when you have the poorest state in the union, Mississippi, stepping up to eliminate its income tax and apparently opening the door in some significant ways for economic development. It's not a quick process, right? We don't get it all at once. It's not, done in 22 minutes with time for commercials. But this is an idea whose time has likely come, And maybe it's time we start bringing that idea front and center here in the state of Idaho. Remember, sound off. Let us know in the comments. Would you support eliminating Idaho's income tax? Yes or no? Love to hear what your answers are. I'm Brian Hyde, and this is Nowhere to Hide.
All reporters are biased. The Idaho Press Club are biased. All media, newspaper, radio.
To be completely blunt here, Brian, and there are plans to expand
Indoctrination.
That's right.
Idahoans are also concerned.
Horror shot. That line would be moving a little bit farther west.
I'm like crying.
Nobody wants to see
Dark money is influencing